Right, we're joined today with England Yorkshire cricketing legend, great bloke as well, 5 championship titles and a World Cup winner. Thanks for joining us, Ryan Sidebottom. How are you,
Pleasure,
Ryan?
mate. How are you doing, you beaut?
I'm all right, thank you. Yeah, to be honest, with this lockdown, I'm looking at you, and a lot of people have let themselves go in this lockdown, you know, but you look like exactly the same as you did before we went into this lockdown.
Well, you'll know as much as me when you've got a partner who's probably gets you hard at it outside, do this, do that. But I've just, you know what, Pete, I've just tried to keep myself busy and potter. And I think I saw Steve Harmison last year. We were playing a couple of PCA Masters cricket matches.
Yeah.
And I turned up and he actually looked like he'd eaten Matthew Hoggard. So when I saw that, I had a bit of a panic on because I didn't want to put loads of weight on. So I've just been trying to keep myself fit as best I can while I'm in lockdown with like everyone else.
Hopefully Steve Harmison won't watch this because I'm sure he'll be having words with you next time he sees you.
Oh, he'll just laugh his head off. He won't care. He'll be fine about it.
Yeah, he's a bit of a character, isn't he? I did an event at Turnberry, at the golf course up at Turnberry. Oh, it was unbelievable. And I did like a Q&A with him. He likes a good drink as well, didn't he? I had a few beers with him.
Oh, he loves a drink, does old Stevie boy. He's a great lad. I mean, you'll know yourself, Pete, rugby lads, cricket lads, they're all just down to earth, normal lads, love a bit of crack, a bit of banter, and you can't get much better than that, can you?
Yeah. I think he's got a bit of Yorkshire in him as well because people were buying him beers and he was taking full advantage. He likes a free beer, so maybe a little bit of Yorkshire in him.
Yeah, he's Durham, so is he on the cusp of being a Yorkshireman?
So
Middlesbrough?
just out of bounds, that, innit, I think.
Yeah, he's a great lad. Loves his golf as well, loves his golf.
Oh yeah, he loved it up there. Yeah, I'm not right good at golf, me. I'm not right good at anything really. I just talk a lot. I was never a good sportsman. So,
yeah.
How have you been keeping yourself busy during this? Then is it frustrating? You're one of them people. Every time I see you, Sidney, you've always got a big smile on your face. You always just look like you just enjoy your life all the time. I like that.
Yeah, I try. Yeah, I always growing up and playing cricket, I always tried to just give my best and try and enjoy what I was doing.
Yeah.
Even on the bad days, I was playing cricket and being outside and with my mates all the time. And, you can't get much better than that. So I always found myself very lucky. So I always tried to just enjoy, life as it comes and as it were. So it was, I do enjoy what I'm doing. I try and give my best, whatever I do. And, I love a bit of banter. And as you know, I like a laugh and a joke and take the piss out of various people and everyone takes a mickey out of me, so it's all good.
Yeah, I've noticed that way. You certainly enjoy a bit of crack, don't you? A bit of banter with lads. Just obviously, I want to speak to you about your cricket career, but you're a celebrity at cricket, but you're a little bit of celebrity after cricket as well, because I'm not big on watching dancing, but when I found out you were on this TV program, it was my wife that told me. Said, "Have you seen us on Dancing on Ice?" I says, "No, I'm not. I'm not interested in all like that." And then she said, "You were on it." I thought, "Oh, I'll sit down and watch that." If you came on me, I tell you what, that you got better, but that the first show, it was like watching Tin Man from Wizard of Oz try to skate on ice. What, you don't look offended, do you really? But
no, don't be daft. It actually really, totally and utterly was. Honestly, I've never been as nervous. I wasn't that nervous at cricket, but really? Going on that show, when like 7 million people are watching every week and you're on ice skates. My partner, Brandy, was absolutely tiny. So we had so many hurdles to overcome anyway to start with. But, again, it was just all good fun. But if I'd have known I was in all-in-one Lycra for the first show, I would have lost a bit of weight because I had my belly hanging out.
I didn't notice that.
And I did look like the bloody Tin Man, didn't I? It's ridiculous.
You looked all right, mate. You look better than I would in it anyway.
Well, I would have sucked in anyway if I'd have known about it.
I tell you what, 7 million people, that's got to be daunting, that. Because you're just going out and it's you and your partner, isn't it, in front of the nation. I never thought about it. That's pretty scary, that.
Yeah, it's really... I mean, when I was coaching Surrey 2018, just doing their 4-day stuff. And then I got the call from the producers asking would I be interested in going on the show.
Yeah.
So I sort of met up with them a couple of weeks later, just to have a chat. And I turned up in a tutu and I had sweatbands and headbands and the leggings on I had stockings on with an Ice Baby t-shirt. Because I thought, you know what, I'll just turn up and look an absolute, make an arse of myself. And they thought it was hilarious. But then they had their professional American skate who did a lot of coaching during the show.
Yeah.
And he put everyone on the ice for about 20 minutes to see what sort of standard you were.
Yeah.
But basically, he might as well have just got off with me because I didn't have a clue what was going on. He just held on to it, and I was so scared. And it just went from there. And then, you know, I got the call saying, "Oh, we'd love to have you on the show." And then it dawned on me, and I panicked. I was like, "Oh my God!" And I told some of my mates, and I said, "Please keep it quiet." And they were just laughing, and they were like, "What the hell are you thinking?" So it was all good fun. And I was training at Bradford as well.
Yeah.
And Brandy, being from San Francisco or California, like a beautiful part of the world, she turned up at Bradford Ice Arena, bless her, and she thought, "Oh my," there was a few expletives. She's like, "What the hell am I doing here?" But we just had great banter, and we had loads of fun, and it was great. It was a great show. Yeah. But I got so nervous. And I was in the bottom two, 4 times or something like that, something ridiculous. But I did all right. I got to week 7, so I can't complain.
Hey, you did well. I'm proud of you. Tell you what, it's dangerous, that skating. I did it. I went to Bradford when I were a lad, and I didn't really enjoy it. I thought I'd lost my dorky, and that's how I learned to skate, because I knew if I didn't find my dorky, I'd be locked out, and my dad would kill me. So that's how I learned to skate. And the second time I did it in my life, Kieran, my son, he was about 7, and you know Peace Hall in Halifax.
Yeah.
They set up an ice rink, and half at town went, because there's not that much here, so we're making me, "Oh, can we go?" And they probably let far too many kids on, and I got on, and I learned to skate in a straight line, but I had to stop, then go straight to a width, and then a length, and then I got enough courage to sort of go for it. And my son was laughing at me, and I went, and I was sort of getting a bit more confident, and a little girl fell in front of me, and I was going to land on her. So I went to dive over her, and you know, there's like a railing round. My little finger got caught in the railing, and I thought that hurt. And when I looked down, my little finger had actually disintegrated. I'd not broke the bone, I just smashed it all to bits, and I ended up in A&E. And I seen a consultant, I'm not making this up, and I had to keep going back. And that finger, it's like a Nintendo stylus. It don't bend.
So are you retired ice skater then? Did you ever go back?
Ice skater, yeah, but the surgeon, he said to me, I kept going back, he says, he was from Belgium, and he said, "We're going to have to amputate that finger." He says, because I says, "I don't want it amputating, like, I just bought some new gloves and that, you know." And he says, "No, I think if you amputate it, it's going to get in your way when you're doing things like washing up and that." I said, "I don't do washing up, wife does that, so we've left it on." So I've got my little Nintendo stylus. I'll show it next time I see you. Is
it all right for your? Is it all right when you're in for your posh cup of tea?
When I've got my can at school, it's absolutely fantastic, mate.
You've got the move then now, and you can't get away from it, can you?
Next time I see you, I'll show you that. So I know I really got to know you, Siddy, from working on after dinner circuit, and I really enjoy working with you. Every time I work with you and you talk about your cricket career, and I think I really like this, because I can ask you anything, and you've got a story about anything and everything, because you've had such an interesting sort of career. But there's one person who I met before you working on after dinner circuit, and that's your dad. And there's no favouritism here, but I love your dad. He's an absolute legend of a man. But I'm not going to say who I like best between you and Arnie, but I just couldn't get...
Oh, go on, you can. Go on. You might as well.
But
I won't cry, I promise.
What do you know, when you look back on your career, when you look back on your dad's, it's incredible. I don't think anyone will ever do what your dad did. Playing at top level in cricket and playing at top level at football. Played for Manchester United. What was that like for you growing up and your dad had played?
Yeah, I mean, he's subtle as you'll know him, he's subtle as a bloody brick, but he's quite a proud man and very humble. He doesn't really talk about his sort of Man U and cricketing days that much, unless he's had a few whiskey and lemonades down him, as you probably know yourself. But yeah, growing up, I knew what Dad was, had done and what he was doing professionally, and he played with England, and sort of watched him a little bit on television, and used to go down to Headingley and watch him play. And then I used to play around the back of the East Stand. There's like a bit of a grassed area where all the other kids would go, and you just play cricket and football. all day. And yeah, it was quite nice. You know, he gave me his cuttings, and he, you know, he's got all his England jumpers and stuff. So it's always quite nice to reminisce with him. And growing up, you want to be like him. I wanted to follow in his footsteps and, you know, be a cricketer. I was never, ever going to be any good at football. I always thought I was good at footy, but he was, when I got my first professional contract with Yorkshire, I rang Dad up first and I was like, Dad, I've just signed a 2-year contract with Yorkshire. I'm on like $8,000 for the year. And I was like absolutely chuffed to bits. And I said, but what am I going to do? Because I'm not going to be able to play football anymore. And he just went, son, you're pretty crap at football, so you better concentrate on your cricket, and put the phone down. And that was pretty much it.
An ego boost, that, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I was going to go home crying all the way, but he's just like that. He was always like that. You know, I always knew going home when I'd had my mum knew I'd had a bad game when I got home, because she said, you've had a bad day today, haven't you, son? I was like, how do you know? She went, your dad's been swearing at the television all day. So obviously watching me, it's like, he's effing rubbish and he's effing this. So, but that's Dad's fear, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, the hardest critic.
Yeah, I tell you what, I know he's dead proud of you, because when I've worked with your dad, I sit and talk to him and that, and I try to think of bad things to say about you, and he probably does the same, but neither of us can come up with those. So I'm not trying to make you blush, but fair play to you, you know.
He's always nice to follow in his footsteps and try and do what he did in the game of cricket.
Yeah. Do you know when you think that in that Man United team that you'd had with him, Bobby Charlton and George Best, and then when you look at his cricket career, his teammates with like Jeff Boycott and that must have been good for you when you were at school. And who was your dad gone to rugby tonight? You could throw.
I got a little bit of street credit at school. Yeah. You know, when he played for Man U, I think there was George Best still playing, and Bobby Charlton might have been sort of finishing or the back end of his career. They still had some stars, Man U, and then he used to take me in the Yorkshire dressing room, you know, quite a bit, you know, sit me down and give me a glass of Coke and some crisps, and you know, listen to all the swearing and everything that the players were getting, you know, doing and taking the mickey out of each other. And you know, even from an early age, you got the dressing room banter. Yeah. So yeah, Dad, it was nice to be part of watching him and you know, see him play as I was growing up.
What were Sir Geoffrey like back then? Because obviously you've known Geoffrey Boycott for so long. What were he like? Because he's one of the greatest characters in the sport. Well,
he's Marmite, isn't he, Pete? You either love him or hate him, sort of thing. But I think, you know, what you get from Sir Geoffrey is he's open and honest, and he just, you know, he tells it how it is. Yeah. And, you know, I suppose we can be very English, can't we? We either like that or we don't tend to like a little bit of criticism. Yeah. But, you know, I grew up with him, really. You know, he used to invite us round to the house, and twice he invited me and my brother and my family around for a barbecue, and then my dad tells a story saying he didn't invite us again for some time because he'd just got some Japanese koi carp in this new pond, and me and my brother were actually in the pond trying to get them out, fish them out. So Dad was like, he didn't invite us round very much after that. He was a bit peeved off. But I suppose you know, growing up, and you know, I've still got a lot of, you know, photos of when we were in South Africa on the Rebel tour as a family when Dad was playing with Boyks, and you know, I've got photos with me, you know, holding his cricket bat and helmet. So it's really nice, isn't it, you know, to have those memories, and you know what such a legend he is of cricket and for Yorkshire. Yeah.
I know when I sort of got involved in your testimonial and that, and I came across, and when you look at all the photos, it's like, wow, what a life to look back on all the people that you know. So I want to ask you, what was it like when you sort of got I know you're in Yorkshire, you sort of elevation to first team, but what was it like when you sort of know you're going to play for the first time for your county after this kind of journey you've been through? Proud moment.
Yeah, well, having all those big characters in the Yorkshire dressing room. You know, you had your Goffs and Martin Moxon and David Byers, some great Craig White, some great players. Yeah. So my debut, you always travelled. It was an away game at Leicester. That was my first team debut. Yeah. And you always travelled. The youngster travelled one of the senior players, and I think it was Bradley Parker. Yeah. And I was absolutely dying for a number 2. like busting the whole way down. And being a young lad, I was like, I need to poo. And he 3 services he veered off to go to get off, and he veered back onto the motorway.
No.
So literally, as I got there, like it was touching cloth, that it was popping out of my bum. So that was the start of it. And then we played the whole first day, and I think we battered. And Yorkshire was like it was like given that you play hard.
Yeah.
You give it everything on the field, and then you go out. Very old school. You go out, have a few pints, go for a bite to eat, go to a nightclub, and then you just do the same the next day. So my introduction was I got a milk float back at 4:30 in the morning. The milkman gave me a lift. He recognised me. I don't know how. So he said, "Come on, youngster, where are you staying?" I was like, "Oh, I'm at Hilton, blah, blah, blah." And he went, "Oh, I'll give you a lift." So this was at 4:30. Bearing in mind we're bowling the whole next day, and like being a youngster, I'm like, what on earth is going on here? I'd only had about 3 pints.
Yeah, I believe.
And then, so I bowled all day. I think I got a couple of wickets. And then every second night or third night, you had like a team meal.
Yeah.
And the youngster always got picked on, and that was me, being the debutant. And they just started playing drinking games, and they did the Royal Toast. There's like 4 bits to a Royal Toast. Obviously, being a young lad, I didn't have a clue. So at this stage, I'd had like mint choc chip ice cream for dessert. And I was sat next to the scorer, and I'd have 5 pints in no time. And then I just chundered everywhere, all over the scorer. Ice cream just came straight back up. And that was it. That was my introduction to first team cricket. And I was like, what is going on here? And then I had a £600 bill when I was checking out. So I only had 20 quid. There's 20 quid back in the day. You could, in 1997, you could have 5 pints and taxi home and a kebab, and you still have change, wouldn't you?
You still can,
so I had a £600 bill. So I was like crying my eyes out. I was like, what on earth am I going to do? Where £600, how am I going to pay for this? So I was like, Dad, like, I've got no money. What am I going to do? He's like, son, you better start washing up.
That's a lot of washing up. Yeah.
Just put the phone down. Again, you better start washing up, lad, and just put the phone. I was like, cheers, Dad. Ta.
What about, I know there were quite a few pranksters that you played alongside. Anthony McGrath had a bit of a reputation as a bit of a joke.
Yeah, had a big reputation for being the number one prankster in the team. There was someone called Jack the Snipper in the Yorkshire dressing room, who obviously he liked snipping socks and underpants and shoes and belts and whatever he could snip, basically. And he used to do it, and we all thought it was Anthony McGrath.
Right. Yeah.
But he did, I think we were down at Hove playing Sussex, and he did Michael Bevans. He was the overseas Aussie, and he cut literally every bit of kit he had. Not his batting kit, but all his going out gear, his whites. So but no one knows to this day who it actually is. But
really?
I've had so many pranks played on me, like, my shoes have been super glued to the floor. My coffin's been nailed. My toiletry bag is like had wee in it. Oh, putting kippers behind the pads.
Yeah.
Just so after a few days you put them in your bag and then you get them out. Your whole kit bag stinks. Just so many. I mean, the best one. It was Dave Hussey, actually. He was overseas at Nottinghamshire, and he rang the Free Press Up, Nottinghamshire Post, and said that he had 8 pedigree. Our coach had 8 pedigree bulldogs for sale, and he needed a quick sale because he was going back to Australia. So our manager literally got 1,000 calls a day. Like, have you got any of those pedigree bulldogs for sale? Because they're free. And he was like, you could hear him in his office going, no, I haven't got any bulldogs for sale. And this was like going on for days and days. He had to change his number. So like stuff like that was absolutely class.
That's a belter, that. 1 minute. Like, and I've not really spoke about what you achieved in games today, but some real highlights. Winning 5 county championships is pretty special, really. There's not many cricketers can look back and say that they've done that. Which one would you probably say is the one that you look at most fondly?
I mean, the first one with Yorkshire was 2001. I was probably the youngest and the most drunkest in that one.
There's a bit of a pattern.
I'd have to say, look, to win 5, I'm very fortunate, but I think it'd be the back-to-back titles with Yorkshire. sort of 14, 15, 16 or something like that. We just, the best teams, you have individuals that are very good players and are full of, we had a dressing room full of talent.
Yeah.
But we were just a really good team. We had that togetherness and team spirit, and, we played some great cricket as a unit. And we, under Dizzy Gillespie as well, he's a great man manager. He allowed the boys to have a little bit of freedom and enjoy what they were doing. And, we played really, really good cricket just because we were having fun as well. It's easier when you're winning, but we played a great style of cricket in a good brand.
I think you see that any team that, like, I work at football and at rugby league.
The wife's, Pete, do you want to say hi? The wife's here. Look, I've seen what she's bought me.
What are you drinking there?
Well, I'm Del Boy from home, aren't I now?
You've changed, you.
Oh, I'm not telling you because it's a passion fruit martini.
Is it? Oh,
yeah, hey, I've got the umbrella too.
That looks very nice, that, mate. I won't keep you on much longer.
I know. Cheers, everybody, anyway.
Hey, no, cheers, mate. Look what I've got, a pint of water.
Oh, you lightweight.
I'll have a couple of cans of Skol after this, Sidney, don't worry. Definitely. So, just sort of when you look back, mate, I mean, I've not even mentioned playing for England, but, that little joker that you're on about at Yorkshire when you started off to pull on the jersey of your country, I think you debuted back in 2007. Yeah,
so I made my debut, what was it, 2002, maybe 2001.
Yeah.
It was at a time when I was still very young and raw, and probably the occasion got better of me. And it was at Lords, the home of cricket, absolute, the history of that ground.
Yeah.
But then I didn't play for 6 years after that. But I always, I think life's about having ups and downs and highs and lows in a sporting career, and that sort of helped me as a person to, I knew I had to be better and get fitter and stronger to try and play for England again. So it was, it's horrible at the time, and you think, oh, am I ever going to represent my country? But you go away and you work hard and you try and improve as a cricketer, and then when you come back, and I had my second test at Headingley, that was the rest of sort of history, as it were. You play 3 or 4 years after that.
Yeah. And you did well and all, mate. There's not many can look back and say they won a World Cup. What are your memories of that, the T20 World Cup?
Oh, I mean, it's amazing because in 2009 we played on home soil.
Yeah.
And we invented T20 cricket, and we were probably the worst at it. We were rubbish. Yeah. We had no direction we didn't realise, what we could do as a team. We weren't very professional. We had a mixed bag of players who didn't really do the roles for that specific tournament. And then 2010 was weird because it was almost came round so fast. But we just changed the dynamics of the team. We had Keyswetter and Lum opening the batting, and they were just something that we'd never seen in English cricket. They were really attacking. And the first 6 overs, we had like 60 off 6 overs. And that was, back in 2010, the power play was amazing for us. But we just we played so brilliantly as a team. And going to the World Cup final, playing Australia in Barbados, about 10,000 English fans. And I'm opening the ball and I'm absolutely bricking it.
Yeah.
I'm proper. Pressure, yeah, there's a lot of pressure, and you need to get your team off to a good start. But it's weird because I was standing. You always sung the national anthem before every game, and with it being on Sky and TV all around the world, the camera would go across the whole team. Yeah. And I used to stand next to Graham Swan, who was a bit of a character himself, and he's singing this operatic Pavarotti style voice. And I couldn't concentrate. Yeah. And I was always thinking, please don't laugh on singing the national anthem. People think you're laughing at singing the Queen's song. So I was all I could think about was that, just not laughing. So when I was bowling the first over, all the nerves had gone. Yeah. And then, as it were, you win, and the celebrations are immense. I must have had 500 rum and cokes the next 3 days, but it was if you can't celebrate winning a World Cup, when can you?
Oh, what a memory. It's nice when you're talking about it. I can see your sort of face light up when all the memories come back to you as well. But,
yeah, it's nice because I've never, like Dad, it's always nice to have those memories for yourself. I've never been really one to go, I've done this and I've achieved that, because you know, everybody, you know, works hard in life, and I've just been very fortunate to play cricket and do something that I absolutely love.
Yeah. Just I'm going to bring things to a close one, but when you do look back, of all the wickets that you took today, which player did you most enjoy getting out? Who didn't you? I wouldn't say personal, but who kind of got up your nose and it were really good to get his wicket?
I mean, you know, you always try and pit your wits against the best, and you know, playing against the likes of Pontian and Tendulkar's, and I think Jack Callis, you know, probably the greatest all-rounder in terms of what he's achieved. You know, he was a bit of I wouldn't say a rabbit, but I used to get him out quite a bit. So it's you know, when you have the mockers over a great player like that, it's always quite satisfying, isn't it? I mean, it's not better than sex. It's not better than sex.
I'm not saying no. I wouldn't know on either count, Cindy, to tell you the truth. But I weren't very good at cricket, and I won't comment on the other.
Well, it lasted longer at bowling anyway.
Yeah, you did well, didn't you? I better leave it at that, Anna. You've never seen me go red before, have you? You can't see
me. You got red
off shirt behind. Yeah, you mentioned there Graham Swan. I met him when I came. That was funny actually, because when it was your testimonial dinner, you'd booked an high-profile comedian, and you had a big screen up saying international comedian, and I think he got stomachache, and I'll never forget the faces when I got introduced, and everyone thinking international comedian from Ovenden in Halifax. Someone's being skanked. But
you were brilliant. You went down an absolute storm.
Do you know?
Yeah, you're outstanding.
I was really nervous.
To this day, what do I ask you every time? Which joke? Like, it's my favourite joke of all time. I know you can't tell it, but
I don't want to give it away on here, mate.
No, it's outstanding. I laugh my head off every time. It's brilliant.
Hey, I tell you what, it was a nervous night that for me, because it was Elland Road, weren't it?
It was at Elland Road, yeah, and it was about 600 people, so it was you jumped in at the last minute, didn't you? So you did a sterling job.
You know something as well? Quick story on that. It was my wedding anniversary that day. Me and Tracy had booked into a Chinese in Guiseley, what we really like going to. And then I got a phone call saying, could you just step in and help us out? So I just told her to get changed. And instead of going to Guiseley, we went to Elland Road. She's like, what are you doing? So she got I think the meal was beautiful, and she got a few free drinks. So she was happy as out. And
she was happy, was she?
We nicked loads of cutlery as well, so it couldn't have really got better than that, could it? You had Graham Swan that night on. He was funny. When you mentioned character, he cracked me up that night. It's a funny man, isn't he?
Yeah, he's brilliant. And he sent me loads when I was on Dance on Ice, because he was on Strictly that before Christmas.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, I'm handing over the reins to you, Siddy, see if you can do any better than me." And he used to constantly take the mick out of me, and especially that opening night when I wore that full lycra, it's like, what? I had so many gifts and like messages, just laughing his head off. But yeah, he's an absolute class bloke, yeah.
Listen, I'm going to have nightmares tonight thinking you in your lycra. Well, no, I won't sleep.
Well, I thought you'd have nice dreams instead, not.
That's why I want to get off now. Put me in Jones. I need one of them gin and tonics in a flamingo glass.
Oh yeah, with an umbrella. Don't forget, Pete.
There's not much of that goes on in Ovenden in Halifax as well.
I do not.
No. Cricket's caught on in Ovenden over at lockdown period, though. I've got to say.
Has it?
Yeah, you wouldn't think cricket were big in Ovenden, but I went for a walk today, and all locals were walking around with cricket bats. So I don't know what's going on. Probably just for protection purposes, really. So
yeah, probably.
Hopefully it'll kick off, mate.
It'll take off then. You might be the new next Joe Root.
You never know, do you? Never know. Just in finishing there as well, I want to mention that when I did Steve Patterson's testimonial at Royal Armouries, and I had to do an interview with Joe Root, and I've got to say he's a brilliant, nice man, a great ambassador for the sport, I must say. But I also got Tim Bresnan and Gary Balance up that evening, and they were a test, should we say? They certainly, I think they enjoyed.
They'd had a few. They'd had a few, hadn't they? Because I was there, and they'd had a few.
Were you there? Yeah, that was funny.
They'd had a few sherbets before, hadn't they? They were a little bit intoxicated when they went up.
You could say that. Put it this way.
You did well though. You handled them pretty well.
I tell you what, it was a test. I asked Brezzy 2 questions and Gary Balance 1 question. And then I went back to Joe Root and asked him 72 questions. I didn't give him another chance, did I?
With one-word answers.
Oh, they were funny though, weren't they? So that's the thing. I've found by doing what I'm doing, there's some great characters in cricket, and especially at Yorkshire Cricket Club, and I think that's nice, because I think that's why what makes a successful team is that friendship and that silliness and the banter in it.
Yeah, because it's just that team camaraderie just gets you through. It's a long season when you're all together all the time. So those practical jokes and getting phone calls at 3 a.m, wake up calls when they've set your alarm for you, and just stuff like that. Those are the things you never forget, because it's like makes you the person you are. Like, yeah. I love a bit of banter as much as anyone else. Like, I love a laugh and a joke.
Hey, really, do you know something? It's been really nice, because I think the nicest bit about doing this is I love to catch up with you anyway, but I think the nicest bit is when I ask you a question about something in your career or your life, and they can see the memory comes back and your face just lights up as you're talking about it. So I think that's been nice, that seeing how, not how chuffed you were to see me, more about the nice things that's happened.
That too.
And hopefully a lot more as well. Hey, and just before I close, well, congratulations, because obviously you just got married just recently, didn't you? So obviously,
yeah, on the 7th of March, got married. We're very, very lucky, because it just lockdown and COVID sort of took a stranglehold the following week when everything was pretty much locked down. So we were so fortunate to get married, and it's been a test of our relationship as well, being in lockdown for 12 weeks with one another. We're not getting divorced just yet.
Today, if she's bringing you a gin and tonic, it's going really well, I'd say, mate.
Well, there's probably rat poison in it.
Yeah, I know. Hey, I hope it in, mate. I hope it in. Hey, listen, can't thank you enough, mate. It's always a pleasure to catch up with you.
You too.
Look after yourself, and hopefully I'll see you on after dinner circuit soon. We can have a laugh.
Definitely. Yeah, we'll have a bit of banter.
Yeah, we will. Hey, look after yourself, Sidane.
Cheers, pal. You too.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Pleasure.